Sandy, I'm going to compare your swing to Grant Waite, who was a tour player during the 90s and considered having one of the best swings in golf. He's now one of the top instructors for tour players. I'm going to begin at the impact position, which is the most important because everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is all due to the laws of physics and motion that exist at the moment of impact. It's the club's position at impact that determines those laws of physics. And it's the player's position at impact that determines the club's position at impact. And everything you do prior to impact has the sole purpose of arriving at a fundamentally sound impact position. I've drawn a red box from the ankles up to the top of the head, and you can see that Grant has the majority of his weight on the left side, right on top of his foot. In fact, that red line is passing right through his belt buckle. The average pro will have 85% of their weight on the left side. And the reason they do this is that it's critical to have the low point of your swing in front of the golf ball. And by moving your weight to the left, it moves the low point to the left and in front of the golf ball. You have a little more weight on your left side than your right side, but in order to get your low point more properly positioned in front of the golf ball, you need to have a little bit more weight on your left side at impact. The second thing the pros do in order to place that low point in front of the ball is they get their hands in front of the ball before they hit the ball. You can see that Grant's hands are right above his left foot. Your hands at impact are behind your left foot. In fact, the shaft is almost leaning backwards. What that means is that Grant will be able to hit down into the golf ball as he approaches it and not hit the ground. He'll hit the ball first in order to maximize the club speed and to maximize the ball speed coming off the face of the club. Because of your attack angle, you're going to come in much more level, and you're going to occasionally hit behind the golf ball and hit it fat, as we call it. Every once in a while you'll hit it thin as well. You'll miss the ground behind it and hit the ball in the upswing. Now let's look at some of the positions prior to impact and see what influence they have on your impact position. This is the start of the swing, and you have an absolutely beautiful setup. You've got a nice extension in your left arm here, and that continues right on through the shaft. You have a nice radius for your golf circle. And your hands are slightly in front of the golf ball as you start, just like Grant has. So that's excellent. Now we're going to start the backswing and go from this one position to the three position. I'll start with Grant. As Grant goes back to the three position is when the left arm is parallel to the ground. You can see how Grant has kept his weight on his left side. He's not swaying to the right or moving to the right in any way. This is called a stable axis golf swing, and the axis is the left side, and he's going to keep it stable and stationary as he rotates around that left side. As we move you from 1 to 3, you actually move a little bit more. You can see how your left hip is moving away from the blue line, so you're moving a little bit more to the right. So when you get to your 3 position, you've moved that low point of your swing behind the golf ball, which adds a complexity to the golf swing. Now you have to figure out how to move that low point back in front of the ball before you get to impact. I now have you in the 5 position. This is when the left arm is parallel to the ground on the downswing. And I've drawn a red line where your left arm is in the shaft of the club. As you look at that angle there, then I'm going to take it down a little bit further. And so by the time your arm gets to here, that shaft angle is about there. Take it down a little bit further. And it's almost fully straight now. You've almost lost all of the angle before you hit the golf ball. And that unwinding of that angle produces a lot of club head speed, but you have already spent that speed, and it's no longer going to be available for the golf ball. So when you hit the golf ball and the ball is being struck right now, you are almost in a reverse situation where your arm is here way behind the golf ball and you're flipping the club underneath you. As I continue Grant's swing down to the golf ball, you can see that he still has that angle. He still has that angle. And when his hands get about the same level as yours, where his hands are about right in front of the right thigh, he still has an awful lot of this angle left, whereas you're almost hitting the golf ball. I can already see the blur of the white blur of your golf ball, so it's kind of at the moment it's getting hit. Whereas Grant has maintained that angle, and he's saving that release of the angle for the impact as he comes through. His hands are now in front of the golf ball, and he hasn't hit it yet. He still hasn't hit the golf ball, and yet his hands are in front of this golf ball before he hits it. His club is still angled back and even with the arm, and as you come through, your shaft has flipped underneath the other side. Here you are in the final position, and you have that classic pro finish, solid on your left side, back foot off the ground and tipping of the tip of the toe, standing tall. You have a beautiful finish. Your overall aesthetics of your swing is excellent, but the core part of the swing through impact is where some fine tuning needs to be in order to become a consistent ball striker. Sandy, the swing on the left is before we begin some minor adjustments to your swing, and then the swing on the right is after those adjustments. You can see on your setup that you have just a little bit more weight on your left side than your right, just like Grant Waite did. So you've got about 55% of your weight on the left leg. Your hands are a little bit more in front, so you have done two important things to get that low point of your swing in front of the golf ball so that you can hit the ball first and the ground second. Now I'm going to take your swing to the 3 position. You can see how you've moved more to the right. This is where your shoulder is. You can see where the red line off your left foot, and you can see how you've kept that shoulder closer to that red line in your new swing. So you're not swaying to the right, you're simply turning to the right. So you're creating a stable axis around your left side, which means your low point has remained in front of that golf ball as you turn. Now I've taken both swings down to impact and a few frames after impact. And there's some similarities here. You still have an issue with how you use your hands to impact. You can see on the left how your back foot is still flat as you hit the golf ball, whereas on the new swing where you have maintained more weight on your left side, you have shifted more weight to the left so that you're actually starting to come off that back foot. Also, when you get to the 9th position, you have more weight on top of your left foot on the right, and you're off the back foot a lot more. You're just right on the tip of the toe. You're still a little bit back on the swing on the left, and you're still a lot of the bottom of your toes are touching the ground, and you're not up on the tip of the toe. Like, the real issue going forward for you will be teaching your hands how to move properly through impact. There is an issue with how you hinge your wrist, that you are cupping your wrist instead of hinging your wrist, which is very important that you get that down right, and that's going to be the only thing you should work on, is how to properly hit the golf ball with your hands.